Tara, and today I have a review of a men's marketed fragrance called Gravitas Pour Homme from Naughton Wilson. And some of you are probably already familiar with this fragrance because it is created by Dan Naughton and Matthew Wilson, hence the name Naughton Wilson. And Dan in particular actually sent this to me, so thank you very much, Dan. I will tell you that right off the bat, I really like Dan's videos on YouTube. He goes by Mr. Smelly, I think it's 1977, but most people just know him as Mr. Smelly on YouTube, and he's super funny. His videos are always hilarious. He has great reviews. He is more into sort of kind of classic masculine smells, but I will say that I still always enjoy his reviews. It kind of gives me a lot of good information and teaches me some things about some fragrances that I otherwise might not particularly be interested in. Likewise, he does review things that are unisex, and he often films with Claire from Smurfy Girly, who I'm sure the ladies who are watching me know and love. So anyway, that's who Dan is, and he sent this to me, so I'll tell you that right off the bat. I always will do my best to not be biased, but I feel like it's impossible to not be partially biased when you get something for free. I'm just gonna put that out there. However, I will say he didn't ask me to review it. He just said, hey, can I send you a bottle of my fragrance? That's all he said. Very, very kind, very polite. He's a nice guy, like I said. I love his videos. I've been watching his videos for a couple years now, at least. So anyway, let's get into reviewing this very nice looking bottle of Gravitas Pour Homme. So to start with, when you look at the presentation, the box is a classy box, but just kind of a simple cardboard box, nothing wrong with that. I throw boxes away anyway, or I recycle them, so totally fine with me. You know, sometimes I feel a little guilty getting rid of those fancy faux leather boxes, but I do it anyway because I don't want that junk. Anyway, so here we go. This is the bottle. Really, really nice looking. My only criticism of the bottle is that I wish this matched, but you don't see it when it's closed, and also, like, I'm just super weird about things matching. So that's just my own personal quirk there, but I do think that's a really nice looking bottle. The fragrance itself is classified as a fougere, which is kind of a traditional masculine fragrance, so it makes sense that this is a pour homme or marketed towards men. The nose behind this fragrance is John Stephen, who I believe is the main perfumer for Boadicea the Victorious, that particular house, which I've never smelled anything from, but I think he's the primary perfumer for that fragrance house, if you're familiar with that one. And so he is the one that crafted this particular fragrance. And like I said, the brand itself is owned by Dan Naughton and Matthew Wilson. I think it's Matthew. I hope it's Matthew. Oddly enough, I once dated a Matthew Wilson, but not this one. So even though this is marketed towards men, I approached it as, is this a fragrance that I want to wear? And I'm just gonna go ahead and spray it so I can kind of get the opening again. I did wear this twice now for a full wearing, plus like when I first got it, I sprayed it on, but that just doesn't really count because it was just kind of at night. But I did give it 2 full wearings. So 2 days, I went around wearing men's fragrance. Not that that matters because I do that pretty often. All right, so in the opening, I get lavender like bomb right off the bat. Tons and tons of lavender. That tends to be a note that obviously is often in fougeres, or like pretty much always in fougeres, but it tends to be a note that a lot of people associate with masculine fragrances. However, there is, you know, Guerlain Mon Guerlain, there is the Lancôme Lavandes Trianon. There are several fragrances now that are marketed towards women and or unisex that feature lavender. So I feel like that's starting to change or shift a bit. Also, the way in which the lavenders used can influence how the fragrance is perceived. But I do get lavender right off the bat. I think there's a touch of bergamot in the opening, but I don't get that a lot. I just get the like slightest hint of a citrus note. And then as that starts to settle a little bit, I begin to get some cardamom and I think coriander. Definitely cardamom though. I pick up a lot of cardamom in this fragrance, which I personally really like. But you know, it just depends on your particular tastes in fragrance. However, cardamom for me, thumbs up. So I will say, when I first sprayed this on, like I said, wore it at night just briefly, I first sprayed it on and I was like, oh, this is a very masculine fragrance. I'm not sure that this will be something that I would wear. But like I said, I went ahead and gave it a full wear testing 2 days in a row, just to kind of get a complete thought about it, and I will say that as you wear this fragrance, it shifts, and it doesn't become feminine ever by any means. But in the dry down, there is definitely like some patchouli and oak moss, things that you would kind of typically see in a fougere style fragrance, but there's vanilla. And that vanilla that's in there makes it a little bit sweeter. It's not sweet, but a little bit sweeter, to the point where I feel like women can definitely pull this off. I think women can pull off anything they want, first of all. As long as you enjoy it, wear it. I don't care what gender you are. If you enjoy something, please wear it. Like I said, when I first sprayed this on, for my personal taste, I thought this is going to be too masculine, but in the dry down, still a little bit masculine. Maybe not something I would reach for all that often just because it's not my personal style, but it became more unisex, and I was actually not at all uncomfortable wearing this. I quite enjoyed it. And yeah, I think if you're a woman that tends to like fougere fragrances, or if you're a man that likes fougere fragrances, I think this would be a fantastic one to try. It is, you know, sort of a nod to the classics of the, you know, fougere style fragrances, but I think with that touch of vanilla and the dry down and just kind of the composition of it, with some of these like spices and things that are in there, it has like a little bit more modern feel. Still very classy, elegant. Like I said, it definitely is a nod to the classic fougeres that I've smelled, like that my dad used to wear, for example, but this doesn't smell like my dad, just to put it out there. It's more modern than that. So anyway, like I said, this kind of opens a little bit more masculine with that heavy dose of lavender, touch of bergamot, then that like cardamom. I think there could be a little bit of pepper in there even, and probably some other spices, but there's definitely, you know, that going on kind of as it settles. And then in the dry down, that beautiful vanilla comes out, a little bit of patchouli, some oak moss as well, which I personally really love that note. So overall, the scent itself I think is very well done. I think this could be something that I would really like to wear at home just for my own personal enjoyment, but like I said, I did not feel whatsoever like self-conscious about wearing this out and having people smell me. I didn't think anybody was gonna say, "You smell like a dude," and nobody said that to me. Maybe they thought it, but nobody told me I smelled like a dude. However, I will say this on a man would smell very, very good. I would definitely love to smell this on a man. I would definitely recommend this to men if you like fougeres, especially if you want something that's maybe slightly more modern in terms of the fougere style. But I think this is just a really elegant, classy fragrance. I personally see this on a man perhaps who wears, you know, blazers and like a nice pair of jeans, not too formal, but also like sharp, like dresses really sharp. And like when I think about it, I kind of picture a man probably in his like 30s to 50s that might wear this, but certainly if you're younger or older than that, or if you know, never wear a blazer, I think you could still really enjoy it. That's just what this particular scent kind of makes me think of when I smell it, and I think of the kind of man, or what the man that might wear this would look like. I also think a smoking hot blonde in her 30s could wear this too. I'm totally kidding. Anyway, guys, let's talk a little bit about the performance, because I know a lot of people that, you know, care quite a bit about performance. I think that this one projects fairly decently, maybe an arm's length away, and has a slight sillage, not a big sillage, just a little bit of a trail for the first 4-ish hours. However, at that point, it does start to come closer in to the skin, which is why I do think this might be nice for like, you know, a date or some sort of situation where maybe you're going to be closer to somebody, because it does kind of get a little bit closer to your skin after about the 4-hour mark, or at least on me, that's what happened. But, and I was shocked by this, and this is why I ended up wearing it 2 days in a row, because I was shocked the first day. This did not go away. Like, I could still smell it, although, you know, towards the end it was very faint, but I could still smell this for 13 hours total. So by the 4-hour mark, it was, you know, close to the skin, not fully a skin scent, but it was closer to the skin. Probably around the 8-hour mark is when it became truly a skin scent, but then it just lingered for like 5 more hours. Literally 2 days in a row, put this on at 6 in the morning, and then at like 7 at night, I could still smell it a little bit. Not a ton, but a little bit. So I was pretty impressed with the longevity. Like I said, the projection and the sillage are more kind of moderate at the beginning, and then kind of soft towards the middle, and then, you know, not a ton towards the end. But this fragrance hung on to my skin forever, for a really long time. So all in all, my final thoughts are, is this Gravitas Pour Homme a fragrance that I would personally wear? Occasionally, not frequently, just because fougères aren't my style per se. However, is it a fragrance that I would like for a man that I'm around to wear? Yes, definitely. I think that it smells really, really good. I enjoyed wearing it. And I do think if you are a woman who likes fougères, I think you would perhaps like this one because of that vanilla in the dry down. I do think that a lot of women who tend to like fougères will really like this one. I will go ahead and link where you can buy this in the description box. I don't usually do that, but you know, like I said, I really like Dan. He's a super nice guy, and I've been watching his channel for a long time, so I do want to support him. So if you're interested, I'll put the link. It's not anything that I would get a kickback or anything for, but I will put the link in case you're curious and you want to check out where you can pick up this fragrance. Even if, like I said, even if it's not something for you, perhaps that might be a nice gift for the holidays coming up before too long. Jesus, right? But anyway, so those are my thoughts. Thank you so much again to Dan for sending this to me. It was fun to test out something different, and I do recommend that, ladies and gents. I recommend that you smell things that you wouldn't normally go for. I think that that really helps to develop your nose. I think it helps to broaden your horizons, and sometimes you find things that you're surprised that you like. And in this case, I truly was surprised that I liked it as much as I did. You know, I knew it was going to be a really quality fragrance because Dan, I just don't think would put out something that wasn't. But I didn't think that I would really like it, to be quite honest, just because I don't tend to like fougères, but I liked it quite a bit more than I expected. By the way, that leads me to today's question. I want to ask you guys, what have you sampled recently that you did not think you would like that you ended up loving? I would be really curious because there have been a few fragrances recently that I've received samples of that I was like, oh, like I looked at the notes and I'm like, nope. And then I smelled it and I was like, holy crap, this is amazing. So let me know what fragrances you've sampled recently that you were blown away by, that you thought you would hate. I would love to hear that. I think it's fun when we're surprised because a lot of times we look at notes and we make, you know, judgments about the way a fragrance smells before we even smell it, and then it smells nothing like we expected. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If so, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. I do tend to do more unisex, predominantly unisex, but more unisex and women's fragrances, but occasionally I do throw in a men's quote-unquote fragrance. Anyone can wear what they want though. I hope you guys are having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.